Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here, your source for gaming, tech, emulation, and open source news. Let's get started. Alright, to kick things off, we're talking about Xbox 360 emulation with Xenia Dashboard. For those who may not be aware, Xenia Dashboard is an advanced, feature-rich front end for the Xenia Xbox 360 emulator, designed to subscribe to Mr. Sujano and to provide a nostalgic, console-grade experience on modern PCs. This dashboard bridges the gap between raw emulation and a polished media library. And Xenia Dashboard just got a brand new update. So at the time of filming, version 1.1.5 is the latest and greatest update. I'd say this is a pretty small update, but there are some notable changes here. They've reintroduced the ability to change all system-wide sound effects, fully customize audio feedback for navigation, clicks, and other UI interactions. And also here, implemented a color-coded framing system to distinguish between game formats at a glance. Green is the standard disc and executable, orange is Xbox Live Arcade, and red is Games on Demand. Next up here, we're switching to Switch emulation and talking about Switch emulation with Citron. And anyways, here over on the Citron Reddit, they've announced that Citron iOS is coming soon. And they do showcase the game up and running on an iPhone. And this, I think, has a number of people very excited, but it is worth pointing out that this probably requires JIT in order to function correctly, which does mean sideloading and not on the App Store. So here's what they say in that post. Citron on iOS is coming soon. Currently it does boot, but there is a few issues to fix since MVK on iOS is hell and is half the size of MVK on Mac. A lot of missing calls there. This will support adaptive triggers on DualSense controllers, and once I get an iPad, there will be a version of TV mode on Mac, but for iPad. And continuing to talk about Nintendo emulation, but going back a few generations and talking about Nintendo 64 emulation with Gopher 64. And Gopher 64 got a brand new update with a small but probably noticeable tweak to the GUI. So at the time of filming, version 1.1.14 is the latest update here, and they say they've updated to the latest version of Slint GUI framework, which should hopefully fix some issues people have been having. And speaking about GUI stuff and the look and feel of things, next up here we're talking about Playnite. Playnite is an open source video game library manager with one simple goal: to provide a unified interface for all of your games, and Playnite just got a brand new update. So at the time of filming, version 10.50 is their latest release, and they've added specific error messages for crash caused by smart app control. They've updated the image handling dependency, updated web view dependency, and process handle leak when opening Explorer windows. Next up, we're switching from PC to mobile. Well, kind of. I mean, we're emulating PC on mobile. Kind of, with Windows emulation on Android and GameHub. And check out this post up here on Reddit emulation on Android titled Grand Theft Auto 5 plus new Turnip driver released, version 26.1.0, plus 60 frames per second. So taking a look at the footage here, the game is running very smoothly. Is it a constant 60 frames per second? No. But at the same time here, it seems to be consistently above 40 and a very smooth gameplay overall. Let me know your thoughts about this one in the comments below. This is with a Red Magic 11 Pro Plus. Now, there are a couple of things worth noting here. First and foremost, the person behind the video does have a YouTube channel, and if you are interested and wanted to see it in action, like everything we talk about, links are within the GitHub link in the bottom of the description below. I don't hide my sources. Now, the person behind this video says they used to play the game at around 30 frames per second, but with these new drivers, it's now very fluid, and we can see that based in the video. Also on here, they say many car mods in the game started working with the latest driver, and that is also probably a pretty huge breakthrough. And speaking about stuff up on YouTube, next up we're talking about Nintendo. Now, yesterday Nintendo had their Nintendo Direct Partner Showcase. We talked about this one in yesterday's video, but I recorded and uploaded before Nintendo had their Direct. I didn't know exactly what Nintendo was going to showcase, but there were some rumors, and those rumors turned out to be true. At least in part. I mean, the Direct was way bigger than I was expecting. So anyways, the rumors that turned out to be true were Indiana Jones, Fallout 4, and also Skyrim. And there was some extra stuff here. For example, Final Fantasy VII Requiem, or Rebirth, sorry. And on top of that was the Elder Scrolls Oblivion Remastered headed to the Switch too. So if you wanted to see everything that was showcased, I mean, there was a lot there. You know where the links are, and everything is in that GitHub link below. I'll drop a link to this site that has everything listed, including the link to the Nintendo Direct. Anyways, here there are a couple of things worth noting. Number one, Indiana Jones will not be on a game keycard. The full game will be on the actual game card. And secondly, Fallout 4, Skyrim, and I believe the Elder Scrolls Oblivion Remastered will be game keycards, kinda. So on Bethesda's website here, for Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition, they say pre-orders for the digital edition launching on February 24th are available now. And there will be a physical code-in-box edition on April 28th. The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim Anniversary Edition will also have a physical code-in-box launch on April 28th. So for Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, they say here pre-orders are available now for the physical game card at retail and digitally via the Nintendo eShop. And for the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered, they say here it's coming next year, so 2027. The remastered experience will be available digitally at launch with a physically code-in-box edition planned for a later date. So based on the reactions I've seen, there's kind of mixed opinions about the Partner Direct. There's a lot of people excited about the games that were showcased, and there are a number of people upset about the code-in-box versions of some of these Bethesda games. Let me know your thoughts about all of this in the comments below. I mean, Indiana Jones made it onto an actual game card, but Fallout 4 and the Elder Scrolls are not. Very interesting overall. I'm curious to see the overall reception once these games launch. I'm guessing game key cards and game cards and all of that won't matter. I think everything's just going to sell well. Could be wrong, but I don't think so. But let me know your thoughts on the situation in the comments below. And speaking about emotions, next up here we're talking about Larian Studios and Baldur's Gate. And this one to me is completely puzzling. So for those who are not aware here, Larian Studios, they're behind Baldur's Gate 3, the massively successful and very popular Baldur's Gate 3. And it turns out Larian is not involved in the Baldur's Gate TV show, not consulted, not anything, which is baffling to me. You would think the studio would be involved in something that was being made from the game, or maybe referenced from the game, or anything from the game, considering how successful that game was. The game that has a huge narrative, a lot of story elements, and a lot of detail, a lot of intricate nuances and details. But no, they're not involved and they're not happy. The full article is up on Insider Gaming, and feel free to check it out for more information on the matter. And let me know your thoughts about that one. Now, I've seen a bunch of reactions on this one, and some people are saying the whole universe is way bigger than just Baldur's Gate 3. I mean, Baldur's Gate itself is way bigger. The whole story, all of the nuances are way bigger than Baldur's Gate 3. Baldur's Gate 3 is just a very small piece of the overall universe. And I would agree with that. However, the big however here, the TV show is continuing after the events of Baldur's Gate 3 and will feature the characters from the game. So go figure. I would definitely involve the studio if it was me, but maybe you wouldn't. I don't know here. Let me know your thoughts. And speaking about hearing your thoughts, next up here we're talking about Mangmi, and Mangmi has revealed the price of the Pocket Max. Right now it's listed at $199.99, so basically $200 US. And taking a look here, we've talked about this one in previous videos. This one is the early bird pricing. After the early bird pricing is up, the price will obviously increase. The specs on this are pretty much the exact same as the Retroid Pocket 5. The Mangmi is a little bit different with the replaceable controls here. But let me know your thoughts between the two. The Mangmi does have the bigger battery. I mean, taking a look at the Retroid Pocket 5 website, and the price right now for the Pocket 5 is on sale for the exact 99 cents cheaper than the Mangmi Pocket Max. But taking a look between the two here, I don't know which one I would choose if I had the choice between the two, if I was buying between the two. I mean, I think it's really going to come down to software experience. Yes, the Mangmi has a bigger battery, but at the same time here, how does the software operate overall? What company would you want to go with in terms of software updates and just overall experience? I'd be very curious to hear your opinions, because I think Mangmi here is taking on Retroid head on. Now, before I go to the next segment, there are a couple of things I also want to point out here. The Pocket Max, aside from the bigger battery, also has a bigger screen, 7-inch versus 5.5. And it does come with those micro switch modules, which the Retroid Pocket 5 doesn't. Would that be enough to sway you for one over the other? I'm actually really curious here. I do think competition is good for the scene. And I'm really curious to see the overall reception that the Pocket Max gets and the overall support from Mangmi on this one. And speaking about friendly competition, kinda, next up we're switching from hardware to software and talking about an upcoming tactical co-op RPG, or action game as they're calling it. And this is Hunter's Horizon Gathering. It's just been announced by Sony here, and well, it looks really exciting, and a lot of people seem to be very excited about it. I mean, check out the comments on the YouTube video. Horizon, 0 players. Who was the absolute genius at Sony that decided every dev needs to make live service games? Art style looks like a cereal commercial for Horizon Puffs. Horizon Forbidden Wallet. The bravest thing about this trailer is leaving the comment section open. Let me know, Gorilla Team, please blink twice if you're in danger. Let me know your thoughts about this one in the comments below. And before I go into the next segment here, I do need to point out I was joking when I said a lot of people seem to be excited. It does seem to be the exact opposite based on the comments. Don't know why I needed to point that out, but sometimes when I joke and not make it obvious, well, some people don't get happy about it. So anyways, here it doesn't seem like this is being well received at all, but we'll have to wait and see. And speaking about stuff up on YouTube and next segment, in this next segment here, we are talking about Dragon Quest VII Reimagined, which has a brand new launch trailer on YouTube. For those who have got your eye on the game now has launched for PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, Xbox, and PC. And speaking about stuff that has just launched, next up here we're talking about Monster Hunter Stories 3 Twisted Reflection. And it turns out that the Twisted Reflection trial version has just launched on console like Nintendo Switch and on PC via Steam. Taking a look here, the demo is now available. It's got a mostly positive review score. So taking a look at the reviews, and it seems that optimization may be one of the problems here. It took 13 gigabytes of my GPU's VRAM and it still runs so damn well. Literally how, Capcom? So overall, some people seem to be very excited about it, saying it's very promising, and well, it's free. It's a free demo, so feel free to check it out. And speaking about checking out stuff on Steam, next up here, this game does not have a free demo yet, but it has been announced here this game will be coming soon. And if you're a fan of The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, or Oracle of Ages or Seasons, or basically any Zelda Game Boy game, you might be excited about this one. This is called Echo Isle. And I would say this is heavily Zelda inspired, and it does look really interesting. Unfortunately, I don't have a release date or price or anything like that just yet. But taking a look at the screenshots here, and a game like this is definitely up my alley. Maybe it's up yours. And speaking about stuff that's been announced on Steam and stuff that may be influenced by previous games, previously really successful games. Next up, we're talking about Another Eden Begins. And if you are not familiar with this one, I recommend getting familiar with it. They're saying here, time-traveling RPG Another Eden announced. Now begins an RPG beyond time and space. Another Eden Begins is set to release in summer 2026 and is now available to be wishlisted. Now, if you're wondering why, I would say you should probably pay attention to this one. Take a look here. If you're a fan of Chrono Trigger, if you're a fan of something like Final Fantasy VII, countless other stuff you might be familiar with. I might butcher this name. I know who they are, but I just might butcher the name unintentionally. Masato Kato. If I said that wrong, let me know in the comments below. I am not good with pronunciation. I try and fail so many times. Anyways, here, this person is behind stuff like the story in Chrono Trigger. Now, I don't know about you, but his resume is extremely, extremely impressive, at least to me here. I mean, Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy VII, Xenogears, like all of that stuff. It's really impressive. If you haven't guessed already, I've got really high hopes for Another Eden Begins. The screenshots, I'm not going to lie here, I'm a little bit skeptical about. I'm hoping they shape up very well. The story here is probably going to be the big thing. But there might be some familiar elements here. You may like this stuff, you may not. Let me know your initial thoughts to this one in the comments below. But anyways, that is all I've got for you in this one. Straight to the point, all stuff and no fluff. We talked about a bunch today. Feel free to discuss anything we talked about in the comments below. If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button, check out my other videos. Don't tempt fate, save your state.